just like to add my congratulations to Governor Florio and express my deep respect for him. You know, he told you a lot about his history in Camden. He didn't mention part of his history where he was a fighter in the Navy, I think. Was that right? And you know, he's still a fighter today. You could feel that. He's a fighter for the public good, not for a political party or for a platform or for a special interest, but for the public good. So give him another warm round of applause. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce to you Mayor Dana Redd, Mayor of the City of Camden. But she's not just the mayor. She's the captain of the city's ship. And she's been steering the ship through probably the worst economic storm that has ever hit the city. And she has done so with unflinching character, and she has steered that ship of state carefully and will be the one to make sure that Camden is on safe shores. Ladies and gentlemen, please receive our keynote speaker, Mayor Dana Redd.
Mr. Pozycki, and thank you to each and every one of you who have answered the call to service and to be a part of this summit. I'm truly encouraged by all that I see as part of the audience, and I know that you are going to not only answer the call, but you are going to make a difference in the community of Camden. I want to welcome you, and particularly the Citizens Campaign. I early on met with Joyce Walker back in 2010 about this extraordinary opportunity to bring Harry Pozycki and the Citizens Campaign to Camden City, and I want to thank you, Joyce, personally for helping to make this happen. Harry, I want to also acknowledge you and the entire staff of the Citizens Campaign for your tireless efforts in cultivating a culture of service and developing a new generation of leaders who put service ahead of personal gain. And certainly what you're doing through the Citizens Campaign is opening the doors of opportunity for ordinary citizens, much like myself, to answer the call to serve and to get involved in politics and government. Please join me in giving him a round of applause. I have to say that this summit is not only timely, but as the mayor of the city, it is certainly welcome. I realized very early on, upon assuming the helm of office and leading our great city invincible, that I would need help. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you and helping to restore our great city to her grandeur and her glory. And I'm aware that similar summits have been held in Newark with my good friend Mayor Corey Hooker. So we're happy to have you here in South Jersey. I tell my North Jersey friends quite often that there are a lot of great things happening in South Jersey, and we want you to come down and visit us sometime. So thank you for visiting us. To all of the sponsors of tonight's summit, let me thank you for your generosity and for answering the call. We know that this entails some cost to have a summit and to open up the doors to our community, answering those calls when we dial for dollars, as we say in politics. But let me certainly shout out the Community Foundation of South Jersey, Rutgers University, Camden Office of Civic Engagement, the Boys and Girls Club of Camden County, along with Cam Connect, our Center for Family Services that is doing extraordinary work with me in Cooper Plaza and Lanning Square, concerned citizens of North Camden, and I know I saw Brian Morton here earlier this evening, the National Association of Social Workers, the New Jersey chapter, Young Urban Leaders, YUL, who I've had the opportunity to work with on our Camden Clean campaign, Southern New Jersey Now, and the Nehemiah Group I saw in the back of the room. Again, let's give all of our sponsors a round of applause as well. To my alma mater, Rutgers Camden, and to our new dynamic Chancellor, Wendell Pritchett, we want to thank you for hosting us. The Chancellor has laid out a very ambitious plan to expand this campus and to grow our academic facilities, and we are looking forward to April 4th, the groundbreaking for the new student campus project in the city of Camden, transforming our downtown, but certainly expanding opportunities for students to learn, much like myself, and to go out into the world and to make change. I know that this campus will grow as the national leader in education, research, and service. Again, please join me in saluting our Chancellor, Wendell Pitcher. I know we have several of our dignitaries that are here and have formally been acknowledged, and I want to also acknowledge young ladies that work with me in City Camden. That is our councilpersons, Deborah Person-Paulk, and also Dana Burley. And to our governor, South Jersey's favorite son, but I also say Camden native, Governor Jim Florio. You are most deserving of tonight's honor, and I want to thank you for your hand that you have extended to my administration and how you're helping me to stand up the city of Camden, our Governor Jim Florio. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow citizens, you have often heard me tout about the great possibilities of Camden. Quite frankly, my belief began very early on with my father when he encouraged our family not to leave Camden because one day it was going to come back. And it was that thought that kept me from moving out of the city even after I had graduated this institution of higher learning. I stayed and I remained because I believed. As a lifelong resident of the city, as a believer, and now as the mayor of this city, I'm only too humbled to play a part in her transformation. It is a transformation from Camden's post-industrial past to now what we are now referred to as a center of the eds and meds, where our healthcare institutions and our institutions of higher learning are driving the local and regional economy in the city of Camden, while at the same time branding us with a new identity. While we realize that we have many challenges ahead, I believe that challenges also present windows of opportunity. Throughout the years, and specifically as it relates to Camden, there's been much discussion and public discourse on the issues of poverty, municipal budgets, unemployment, workforce development, public safety, public education, and economic development. We know the issues, we know the concerns, we know the problems, and now, more than ever, we must move toward finding solutions in order to move Camden forward. But yet, in our quest to seek those solutions, not just in Camden, but at all levels of government throughout the state, it has been the Citizens Campaign that has done an outstanding job in raising the awareness of what is probably the best approach to making meaningful change, and that is civic engagement. Because moving Camden forward, and I believe this strongly, is more than just bricks and mortar. Camden's transformation, revitalization, renaissance must include, to a larger degree, civic engagement. Camden's revitalization must include her people. And I say that because in order to sustain the progress that we are making in our neighborhoods, yes, with rebuilding houses and expanding our health care and academic institutions, creating job opportunities, but also leveraging those investments in our neighborhoods, we need our people to sustain the developments, and we need our people to take us to the next level. So tonight, I hope to inspire you who have chose to join us this evening in the call to service, where you truly begin to accept and commit to being the change or the agent of change that Camden is and has been waiting for. I submit to you that this call is for you. The call to service is such a simple yet compelling call to our citizens. When I think of service, I think of a profound statement made by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who once said, and I quote, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" To me, this is what service is all about. What are you doing for others to enhance their lives? What are you doing to improve your neighborhood, for community. What are you doing for the greater good? It is easy to sit back and complain and watch others give the helping hand, or to turn the other way simply because you think you do not have the time. It is easy to point out the problem and to play the blame game instead of offering real solutions. Unfortunately, our society has gradually become a society that expects much, and our expectation levels are way up here, and we found that out with President Obama very early on. But sometimes, just sometimes, we offer little in return. It could be possible that maybe we have forgotten the need to help or serve our fellow brothers or sisters. And again, Dr. Martin Luther King said, anyone can be great because anyone can serve. Now more than ever is the time to rekindle the sense of community and to answer the call to service. I know some might believe that a call to service reflects out a call for political recruitment, and we want you to get involved with political offices. Believe me, particularly, we want to see more women running for public office. It may be that you think in order to serve that you have to be an elected official, but I suggest to you, contrary, you do not have to be an elected official to serve. If you take a look at Harry Pozycki's book, The Citizen's Manual, and I read it from cover to cover, Paths to Power for Regular People, he offers very constructive ways in which you can begin to get involved in your community and begin to implement change and be a part of the process. Service to your neighbors, your community, goes well beyond being the mayor of any city. Yet, believe me, it is not the easiest job in America that I have. It goes beyond being the governor of any state or even the president of the United States. Service comes in many forms and in many arenas. And as Mr. Pozycki points out, the three power centers of local government are the elected positions such as mayor and council, the school board and the planning board and the zoning board. Most people are quick to identify mayor and council, but more often do not realize that there are many municipal boards and commissions that have a direct impact on your community. And those are great places to start in your call to service. For instance, in the city of Camden, the Rooming and Boarding Housing Site Licensing Board determines and gives final approval for licensing. And since Camden has now gone from a type 2 to type 1 district where the mayor appoints individuals to serve on the Board of Education, it is also a great opportunity, and I make this call out to you for this particular year. If you are interested, and if you are a Camden resident interested in serving on the Board of Education, please submit your resume to my office for consideration. It is a school board that sets the policy and procedures of how schools are run. And in fact, we want to get you and fresh ideas, individuals with innovative and creative approaches to addressing the issues at hand of improving academic outcomes for urban youth. Believe me, I want you. These and a myriad of boards and commissions at the local, county, and state level go unnoticed, in large part because they're volunteer boards. In other words, no pay, no compensation. And it requires a lot of work, often beyond your normal work hours. Yet, we are all compelled to be change agents in our communities. Don't fret. If you think I have a busy schedule, you find a way to balance it all. You find a way to balance your time with your family and your commitments and your community. We need you. We need you to answer this call to service. Let me start by asking a very good question. And I know I have made this statement in the past when I've saw or seen something going wrong in my community, and I sat back and complained, and if I was that person, I would have done it this way. How many of you have ever said, if I was in charge, I would not have done what that elected official did in their decision-making process? Raise your hand. I thought I would get a good response. I felt that way very early on until I got involved and had to learn the process, and found out that it wasn't as simple as moving one glass from one end of the table straight down the middle and to the other end. Because in government, You have to abide by laws, regulations, provisions of this and provisions of that, and you want to be compliant. So again, you know, if anything, in getting involved in the community and in answering the call to serve, a great piece of advice that was given to me by a former senator: learn the process. You know, it is important that you participate, but also in participating, that you come prepared to a board meeting, that you not become a seat warmer and show up for a roll call and not read the materials or participate in deliberations or listen to the community, because a good leader listens to the community. You make yourself available to individuals, because oftentimes you will find that the best ideas come from a conversation with an individual. Truth be told, having served in the Senate, many of the bills that are dropped in the legislative process have emanated from a conversation with an ordinary citizen. And that's how change also comes about. I want you each to feel the passion of the persons that are here in the front of the room. Governor Florio, who talked about his growing up in Camden. He did not come through the traditional way of going to school, Rutgers University, much like myself. I worked during the day as a bank teller at Broadway and Market while attending school at night here at Rutgers Camden campus until I completed my degree. And yet, I did not give up. It was a long process, but I did not give up. I took it to the next level, went the next step. You too can follow behind Governor and myself and be the change that you have been waiting for. I strongly believe that now is the time to answer the call. Now is the time to give back. Now is the time to make change. Now is the time to serve. As President Obama once said, and I quote, "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones that we have been waiting for. We are the change that we seek." But answering the call, again, requires your commitment. And I say commitment with a big C. Every day will not be a good day. Some days will be cloudy and rainy, but still remain committed to your beliefs and committed to the fact that you can make a difference and make change in the community. We want to thank you so much for being here tonight. And as the mayor, there are opportunities, many, which you'll hear about in the breakout panel discussions later this evening, that I invite you to apply for. We have several boards and commissions that we would like to inquire of your interests and see if you would be a good fit for helping us in our community and our overarching goal of rebuilding the great city of Camden. I know what we can do when we come together, and I say that because we came together with very little in resources to launch our Camden Clean campaign last year, where residents, businesses, volunteers, and government came together to clean up and to restore pride and beauty to the city of Camden. Think of what we can do when we come together to reinstitute systems that have been broken for so long in the city of Camden, and to make those systems responsive to the needs of our community, whether it is reforming public education, reforming municipal government, reforming what we do in terms of economic development where it benefits the people, creates job opportunities, better housing, safer neighborhoods. Think about what we can do if we answer the call to serve. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that there's great potential and energy and ideas in this room that are waiting to be unleashed. I invite you as the mayor of this city to answer the call to service. This is not a collect call that you can reject, because this is not one of those calls that we remember. This call is for you. Come on, Camden, let's stand Camden up, answer the call to serve, and I'll see you as we move Camden forward. God bless you.